online. His child mother has allegedly been on social media in the past, joking around or insinuating that she wanted him gone. And folks are screen recording no lies, reposting clips and bringing those comments back up after his death, which we'll later look at. Now that may play a role, or may not, because as I dig deeper, things became more complicated. According to Durham police, the victim was also a well-known gang member, which we'll later identify, and has also been arrested twice. One of those cases tied to a prior shooting, which led him to serving time before recently coming home. So who's to say this isn't retaliation?
Now take a look at this. This is the spot right here where Jeffrey lost control of his vehicle before slamming into this light pole after he was shot.
He was a rising Durham rapper, fresh off a collaboration with NBA YoungBoy and finally breaking through. But on January 4th, 2026, Billy Resio was killed in a drive-by that left him dead at the scene you just saw and a woman in his car fighting for her life with a bullet in her head. And then investigators revealed one detail that flipped the entire case upside down. The woman who survived that night wasn't just a witness, she had just had Billy's child. So what really happened on Hillsborough Road that night? Was this a bitter ex orchestrating a deadly setup or something even darker involving mistaken identity and gang retaliation? Before we unpack the night that ended Billy Resio's promising life, let me take you back to 1995, where this tragic story truly begins. Born January 25, 1995 in Durham, North Carolina, Iris Daquan Jeffrey grew up in Bull City and attended the Durham School of the Arts, a public magnet school emphasizing creative disciplines like music, theater, and visual arts. This environment planted the seeds for his rap career, giving him early exposure to performance and the power of storytelling through art. Friends and family described him as someone who never let his talents overshadow his generous heart, someone who remained appreciative of kind words and family meals. He became a father to his son and daughter, and his children were his priority despite the pull of the streets and the grind of building a rap career from scratch. Billy's entry into music started in Durham's local hip-hop scene during the early 2000s. He began by releasing tracks independently, collaborating with other regional artists. Early videos appeared on YouTube, tracks like Type of Way featuring Big 93 and So Petty alongside P Black, showing a young artist honing his craft. These weren't polished major label productions, they were raw, authentic expressions of life in Durham. By 2024, Billy formalized his career when he signed with Rich Nation Entertainment, a North Carolina-based label founded by CEO Michael Mitchell. His debut single under the label, No Lie, introduced his style to a broader audience. The track was distributed through Vidya, connecting Billy to major distribution networks including Universal Music Group, Rock Nation, and Virgin Music. For an emerging artist from Durham, this infrastructure was game-changing. In 2025, Billy followed up with Bonnie and Clyde, a track exploring themes of partnership and loyalty, but the real breakthrough came that same year when Billy dropped Labeled Me Top Shotta, a collaboration with NBA YoungBoy. Released on July 9, 2025, this single represented everything Billy had been working toward. This was validation, proof that Billy Resio belonged in conversations about the next generation of Southern rap talent. The collaboration showcased Billy's ability to hold his own alongside a superstar. His label CEO, Michael Mitchell, described Billy as possessing natural talent and noted that the rapper was family, energy, talent, and truth. By late 2025, Billy's trajectory seemed clear, with major distribution, high-profile collaborations, and a growing fan base. But success in hip-hop, especially for artists who draw from street life experiences, often comes with complications. Billy's lyrics frequently touched on themes of survival and loyalty. Songs with titles like Labeled Me Top Shotta reflected a world where reputation mattered and perceived disrespect could have serious consequences. His label CEO later revealed that there were plans to relocate Billy to Miami, specifically to escape the violence that plagued Durham. Mitchell expressed regret, noting he wished he could have saved him because they had discussed the move extensively. The fact that such plans existed suggests Billy and those around him recognized the dangers. On the surface, Billy Resio appeared to be someone successfully transitioning from street life to legitimate music success. But beneath that surface, something else was brewing. The events of January 4th, 2026 unfolded with terrifying speed on one of Durham's busiest corridors. Around 9 o'clock that Saturday evening, 30-year-old Billy Resio was behind the wheel of a 2024 Chevrolet Malibu heading westbound on Hillsborough Road in northwestern Durham. Sitting in the passenger seat was a woman, someone Billy knew well, the mother of his recently born child. They were just two people going about their evening, perhaps heading home or running an errand. Then another vehicle appeared, pulling up alongside the Malibu's passenger side. Someone in that second vehicle opened fire, unleashing a barrage of bullets aimed directly at the Malibu. The attack was swift, brutal, and clearly targeted. Police would later recover 7 shell casings scattered across Hillsborough Road.
The fact that at least 7 bullet casings were in the middle of Hillsborough Road, it seems like it could have hit anybody. I mean, what are your thoughts there?
There's no regard for life. Anyone that's engaging in these activities.
Billy was struck in the neck, which caused him to lose control of the vehicle immediately. The Malibu veered off course, crashing into a nearby parking lot directly in front of a Wendy's restaurant. The woman beside him wasn't spared. She was shot in the head, suffering what would be initially described as life-threatening injuries. As the Malibu came to a violent stop, the shooter's vehicle disappeared into the night. Durham police responded immediately, closing down a significant stretch of Hillsborough Road. Billy was rushed to the hospital, but the wound to his neck proved fatal. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The woman was transported with life-threatening injuries. For days, her condition remained critical, and it wasn't until January 9th that police updated her status to critical but stable, indicating she had survived but faced a long recovery.
Family told me this afternoon that they're a little too shaken up to speak on camera. They say that their loved one did not deserve to die.
The fact that 7 shell casings littered the middle of Hillsborough Road raised immediate concerns about public safety. This wasn't some isolated back street. This was a heavily trafficked commercial corridor on a Saturday night. Anyone could have been caught in the fire cry.
There's no regard for life. Anyone that's engaging in these activities. It is extremely frustrating because other people could have been hit.
As news of Billy's death spread, the hip-hop community began processing the loss. Michael Mitchell, CEO of Rich Nation Entertainment, posted an emotional tribute, calling the shootings senseless. Billy wasn't just an artist, he was family, energy, talent, and truth, Mitchell wrote. He described Billy as a real one with a real voice, a real story, and a heart that poured into his music, promising that while the streets took a body, they can't take a legacy. Mitchell specifically referenced Billy's tracks No Lie, Bonnie and Clyde, and labeled me Top Shotta, noting that Billy had left pieces of himself in every record, and that's how we know you're never truly gone. Social media filled with condolences, with users sharing Billy's music and reflecting on the senseless nature of his death. But alongside the mourning, something else began emerging online: speculation, theories, and eventually direct accusations about what might have motivated the attack. Because while police maintained their official silence about potential motives, social media exploded with allegations that this wasn't random violence. Posts began circulating claiming that someone, a woman, had been publicly posting Billy's locations for months, that she had openly expressed animosity towards him, that she was consumed by jealousy over his relationships. The presence of another woman in his car that night, the mother of his child no less, seemed to fit perfectly into a narrative of romantic jealousy turned deadly. One particularly detailed social media post alleged that this woman had been giving the drop on Billy, street terminology for providing someone's location to people intending harm. According to these claims, she had been vocal about her feelings, posting publicly about disputes over relationships, paternity, and perceived disrespect. The allegations revealed a woman who felt scorned, replaced, or wronged, and who allegedly channeled those feelings into murder. But other theories emerged simultaneously, suggesting the motive might not have been personal jealousy at all. Some social media users claimed this was actually a case of mistaken identity tied to gang retaliation, that Billy resembled someone involved in releasing explicit revenge content related to a gang member's sister, and that he was killed because someone thought he was someone else entirely. For nearly 3 weeks, those questions hung in the air unanswered while Billy's family, friends, and fans grieved without closure. Then on January 23, 2026, Durham police announced a major break. 26-year-old Ariana Kiara Mangum had been arrested and charged in connection with Billy's murder. The 26-year-old Durham resident was hit with serious charges: 1 count of murder, 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill inflicting serious injury, and 2 counts of felony conspiracy. She was held without bail at Durham County Jail, indicating prosecutors viewed her as either a significant flight risk or a danger to the community. Those conspiracy charges are particularly significant because they don't exist in isolation. Conspiracy, by legal definition, requires an agreement between 2 or more people to commit a crime. The presence of 2 conspiracy counts, one related to the murder and one to the assault on the female passenger, strongly suggests investigators believe Mangum didn't act alone. Yet, as of today, no co-defendants had been named publicly, no additional arrests had been announced. But here's what makes Mangum's arrest so frustrating from a public information perspective. Virtually nothing about her background, her connection to Billy, or the motive for the attack has been officially disclosed. News reports describe her as a 26-year-old Durham resident and list her charges, but that's where the official information ends. No prior criminal history has been reported, no employment details, education background, or family connections have been verified. Most critically, no romantic relationship, past or present, between Mangum and Billy has been confirmed by authorities. The same day Mangum was arrested, Billy Resio was laid to rest. The funeral was held January 23rd, with a visitation at 12 p.m. followed by the service at 12:30 p.m. Now, Billy's death isn't the first time we've seen this kind of tragedy play out in hip-hop. In fact, there's a case from just a few years ago that bears striking similarities, and understanding what happened there might give us insight into what could have motivated Billy's killing. In June of 2022, Atlanta rapper Trouble, born Mariel Samonte ORR, was shot and killed under circumstances that eerily mirror Billy's case. Trouble, like Billy, was an emerging artist from the South who had built his career on authentic street narratives. He'd released mixtapes like December 17th and had collaborations with major artists including Drake and The Weeknd. He was 34 years old when he died, just 4 years older than Billy. On June 5, 2022, around 3:20 a.m., Trouble was visiting a female acquaintance at the Lake St. James Apartments in Conyers, Georgia. He had fallen asleep beside this woman when her ex-boyfriend, 33-year-old Jamichael Jones from Atlanta, arrived unannounced and forced his way into the apartment. Jones and this woman had ended their 3-year relationship just 1 week earlier, a breakup that came amid disputes over finances and domestic issues that included unreported physical assaults. According to the warrant, Jones discovered Trouble asleep next to his ex-girlfriend. What happened next was captured partially on surveillance footage. Jones punched the woman in the face, causing visible injuries. Then he engaged in a physical struggle with Trouble that lasted approximately 7 minutes. During that altercation, Jones drew a handgun and shot Trouble once in the chest. The woman attempted to intervene, but had to flee to call for help. Trouble was rushed to Rockdale Piedmont Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Sheba, those warrants detailed Jamichael Jones and his girlfriend of 3 years breaking up about a week ago. Then Sunday, Jones allegedly broke into her apartment, found Mariel Orr, known as rapper Trouble, and shot him. Tonight, Jamichael Jones is in the Rockdale County Jail, charged with murder, assault, and home invasion following the death of rapper Trouble early Sunday. In arrest warrants, investigators claim Jones went to his ex-girlfriend's apartment in Conyers Sunday morning before sunrise and forced his way inside. That is where he found his ex and Trouble asleep in a bed. After allegedly punching her in the face and fighting with Trouble, according to the warrants, Jones pulled a gun, shot Trouble, and then left the apartment complex 7 minutes after arriving. Yesterday, deputies visited places Jones was known to live or frequent. At his mother's home, deputies stood by as she talked with him by phone, asked him to turn himself in, and Jones then arranged with deputies to surrender at a hospital.
Maybe he felt that that would probably be a safe location. Maybe it was a area that he was familiar with, but he decided that's where he wanted to turn himself in. It was a lit area. We were okay with it. Whatever it took to make him feel comfortable, but just to turn yourself in, we were going to comply with that.
Hours later, Jones made his first court appearance this morning, where a judge read the charges and then denied him bond. And as of that court hearing this morning, Jones did not have an attorney. He is due to be back in court a week from tomorrow. Jeff?
Jones escaped the scene but surrendered to authorities 2 days later on June 7, 2022. He was initially charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, home invasion, battery, and possession of a firearm during a felony. He was held without bail. In March of 2025, Jones accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter and receiving a 20-year prison sentence with credit for time served.
Mr. Jones, you are charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, battery, felony violence, and home invasion in the first degree. All of your charges are felonies except for the battery, felony violence, which is misdemeanor. Would you like your warrants read? No. Bond will be denied on your felony murder charge as well as your aggravated assault and home invasion charges. On the battery, felony violence, it appears you are not currently on probation or parole, so you're entitled to bond on the battery. A bond will be set in an amount of $10,000. You'll be held no bond, and as I stated earlier, your counsel will need to file a motion for a review by the Superior Court for bond on your felony murder and your home invasion, and bond is denied on the aggravated assault on the basis of threat to victims and witnesses. Do you have any questions about your case? Your next hearing is June 15th at 1 p.m. That's your commitment hearing. Okay, if you hire private counsel, make them aware of that date and that they need to be present at the jail courtroom and ready to proceed with your committal hearing. And if the public defender's office will be representing you, they will get in touch with you and come visit you at the jail. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Okay. All right, we'll look for an entry for that attorney and do advise them of your upcoming court date to avoid delays. Thank you.
The motive in Trouble's case was explicitly confirmed as jealousy. Jones couldn't handle seeing his ex-girlfriend with another man, especially not with a rapper who represented everything Jones wasn't. The breakup was fresh, just 7 days old, and the wounds were raw. When Jones discovered them together, his jealousy erupted into violence that cost Trouble his life. Now, look at the similarities to Billy's case. Both were Southern rappers on the rise. Both were killed in situations involving a woman they were with. Both attacks happened in the presence of that woman, who in Billy's case was also shot. Both cases feature suspects connected to jealousy over romantic relationships. But what both cases share is the tragic reality that romantic jealousy, when combined with access to weapons and a willingness to use violence, can turn emerging artists into targets. After Trouble's death, figures in the hip-hop community, including Young Jock, sparked debates about accountability, with some questioning whether the woman bore responsibility for not warning Trouble about her ex's potential for violence. Those same debates are playing out now around Billy's case, with social media users questioning why warning signs, if they existed, weren't heeded. These aren't isolated incidents either. In March 2015, South African rapper Flaba, whose real name was Nkulunkulu Habedi, was stabbed in the chest by his girlfriend Sindisiwe Mangwele during an argument fueled by jealousy over his interaction with an ex-lover. Mangwele was convicted of premeditated murder after admitting intent under cross-examination. In September 2013, UK rapper Depsman, born Joshua Ribera, was stabbed at a nightclub memorial event motivated by jealousy over a young woman. The perpetrator, Armani Mitchell, was convicted of murder. The pattern is undeniable. Jealousy, particularly romantic jealousy, has been the motive in multiple rapper deaths across different countries and contexts. What makes these cases especially tragic is that they're often preventable. They don't stem from gang wars or drug disputes or random street violence. They come from personal relationships, from emotions that spiral out of control, from people who can't handle rejection or perceived replacement. The case has also reignited conversations about gun violence in Durham specifically. The shooting marked the 7th and 8th people shot in Durham over just 1 week in early January, contributing to what officials described as the city and county's largest violent crime reduction collaboration in history. Durham's homicide clearance rates remain significantly lower than Raleigh, raising questions about investigative capacity. North Carolina's gun death rate increased 39% from 2014 to 2023, with the state now holding the 12th highest gun homicide rate nationally. What do you think about this case? Have you been involved in a similar situation with an ex? Let me know in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.